Okay, super. Hi, everybody. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys let me know if you're able to hear me well on your end? So I'd like to see a yes or a okay or something, anything in the chat box. Hello, hello, hello. Awesome. Okay. Anybody else? Awesome. All right, guys. So where are you all from? I always like to know where people are coming in from. So interesting to me because the reality of trading, the cool thing is that we could do it from anywhere in the world, right? So I would love to know from Vegas. Oh, very cool, Annette. I have so many people that are trading from Vegas in my classes. Israel and Kelowna, BC. I'm going to ask an ignorant question. BC as in British Columbia, or where is BC? Bill. Um, Israel. Very cool. How are things going on in Israel? I know, well, at least from my parents' point of view, the world is watching Israel because you guys are the most vaccinated, and right now because of Delta. So how's it going there? I don't really keep up with the news, but I was just in the States visiting my family. Saudi Daisy, Tennessee. That sounds like a very pretty name. Stewartsville, New Jersey. I was just in North Bergen, New Jersey. Orange County, California. Which part of Orange County? I lived in San Diego for a while and then Los Angeles, so I know that area. Right, you were right between both. New York City, Piper. I just came back from New York City, British Columbia. Beautiful British Columbia, all right, Bill? I love British Columbia. Delta is rising. Yeah, I know. I think that's kind of like the reason why everybody's watching Israel because you guys are the most vaccinated, and now with with Delta on the rise and actually hitting people who are vaccinated, it's a little bit scary. But as long as we take care of ourselves and really keep ourselves, I guess, in check, it works. Mission Viejo in Southern County is that on the beach, Greg? I know it. I think oh my gosh, it's been so many years. I love that area. I absolutely love Southern California. It's one of my favorite areas. I live this, yeah, okay, inland. I was right. Okay, so I knew mainly along the coast. We used to go and visit all the different beaches and whatnot. So beautiful there. Okay, guys, so my next question is what are you guys trading? What are you guys into trading? Because there's so many different awesome instruments that people trade today. What are your favorites? I would love to know. So throw them into the chat box. Options and e-minis. You're from Namibia. Walvisey Bay. Wow. Namibia. What time is it in Namibia right now? I don't even know. That's in Africa, right? Penny stocks and options board. So when you guys, do both of those types of instruments, which ones are you more successful in? Where are you profiting more from? The e-minis or options bill or penny stocks or options board? Which one is more? What are you guys finding? Hi, Donna. Gold and the NQ. I would imagine that would be on the futures market, right? Is that what you mean? Futures, right. You do more with stocks. Yeah. Options can be really tricky, right? Like I've never actually done options. I've kind of stayed away from them. I find them to be a little bit tricky for sure. All right, well, let's hop into the program, into the presentation. So even though I am going to be here teaching you guys, and hopefully you'll get, some things from me and that you could take it right away into your trading and implement it. The goal for me to be here is so that you could ask me questions. I really love to help and be more interactive because the more we interact with each other. And the more questions you ask, the better I can actually help you guys and make this presentation really be helpful. Okay, so please remember that I'm here for you guys to answer all of your questions. That's what this is all about. Okay, so let's begin. Today, I am going to be talking about understanding market language and how to spot high probability trades with analysis, working through my favorite indicators. I'm going to be showing you my favorite indicators. Interestingly enough, I actually only use two indicators. I like it simple, and I don't want to say easy because we all know that trading is not easy, but definitely it can be simple. And that's what I really want to show you guys today. So I am Marina. I am the trader chick. And this is one of my little people, one of my favorite little people that one of my sons. And I just want to give you a quick, uh, I guess, a quick like intro of who I am, because trading, the cool thing about trading is who we are as people. It's not only about our charts, it's not only about the instruments we trade, it's about who we are, right? And the experiences of life that we bring into trading can actually really make such a huge difference. So I am Marina, the trader chick. I live in Antigua, Guatemala. I'm an expat in Guatemala. This is my family. I'm married to a Guatemalan. And I was just mentioning that I just visited my family in the States, in New York and New York City, and New Jersey, New York City area. Our first trip since the pandemic began over a year and a half ago. So it was really, really interesting and a really great trip as well. And I speak three languages. And mainly the main reason I'm bringing this up is, as I mentioned, the name of this presentation is going to be Understanding Market Language. And one thing I realized is that the market has its own language, just like when you learn a new language. I don't know if anybody here is bilingual or trilingual, but I'm a refugee from the Soviet Union. So when I was born, I Russian was my mother tongue, right? I spoke Russian. Obviously, it was what the first words I ever heard. But I moved to the United States when I was really tiny. So English is my real language, it's my main language. Because when you're tiny and you learn a new language, you're not really learning a new language. It just happens so quickly. However, Spanish, which is my third language, I learned in my late 20s. And when you learn a language in your later years, it's a process that you go through, right? I don't know if any of you guys have learned a language in your later years, but it's a process, and it's a pretty complex process, right? You first have to understand what you want to say. You have to first have it in your language, translate it into the language that you're learning, transport it to the person standing in front of you. Hopefully they're patient, get that out to them. And then they respond pretty quickly because it's their language back to you. So then you have to take everything in, translate it into your language. I mean, you understand it's a laborious process, right? But the more you practice, the easier it gets. But then the miracle that happens is one day you wake up and you just speak the language. You just know the language. And it's incredible because you don't have to go through any more translations in your head, none of that. You just know it, right? And that's kind of what happened with me with Spanish. I've been now an expat in Central America. We lived in Costa Rica before for almost 20 years. And I learned this in my late 20s. And you just get it. And I think because I had that opportunity to learn a language in my later years, that I recognized that the market is a language of its own. Before I became a day trader, I was a fitness instructor and a travel writer. And the main reason I bring this up is because a lot of people constantly are like, oh, I don't have, the proper experience. I don't have financial training. I don't have math. I didn't either. I still don't. I don't care about any of that, to be honest. It doesn't affect my trading in the slightest, right? And I was a travel writer, and I still am. I still have my site. You could go here today, Travel Experta. And for me, this was before I became a trader. Travel is not a luxury for me. It's a necessity. It's something that I have to do. It's just who I am. And I always was looking for work that could correlate with my travel and trading. I mean, we have like 5 or 6 nations right here presented who responded. I don't know who didn't respond, and probably from other nations. And that's the coolest thing about trading, is that you can do it from anywhere in the world, and all you need is internet and a laptop, right? So before I jump into the meat of this presentation, I have a free worksheet that I made for you guys to go along with the presentation. Okay, just go to makingofaDayTrader.com, makingofaDayTrader.com, and you can get it for free right away and work with the presentation. And I know that David is also recording this, so when you get on replay, you can go at your own pace. It's literally what I use when I trade. Okay, so go to makingofaDayTrader.com and you could get the presentation and the worksheet that goes with it right away. Okay, makingofaDayTrader.com. So let's begin. As with learning a new language or anything, you have to get the basics, right? And what I want to talk about is the basics of day trading. Look, here's the deal, guys. We can hear the word basics and all of a sudden be like, oh, I'm too advanced. I can do this. Great. But the reality is, and this is a real reality, is that when we first start to learn day trading, we never get to the basics because very few people are actually talking about it. And if you join any academies like I did, I spent over $20,000 on academies. You get thrown into what I like to, like an analogy I use is the symphonic pit, right? It's as if there's somebody who wants to learn how to play an instrument and they arrive to their music academy on their first day, but instead of going into music theory or music 101, they're literally thrown into the symphonic pit and expected to keep up with the professional musicians. And that's not how it works, right? You need to know the basics. You cannot put in your windows if you don't have your walls built in. And it's very similar. Another great analogy and is driving a car, right? Today, when we hop in the car, it's so automatic for us, right? Because we know how to turn on the ignition, we know where the accelerator is, where the clutch is, where the brakes are, where the gear shift is. These are just so automatic that we don't even pay attention to it, right? However, I'm in this really great position right now. My son, my 17-year-old, is learning how to drive a car. And when he sits down, he does not know the basics. The only basic he actually knows is the seatbelt. But if you don't even know where the seatbelt is, how can you, when somebody tells you to buckle up, how could you know how to do that, right? And the majority of the stuff that we do in trading can be also understanding the basics and just and using it as an automated way, not to be automized, I don't know if that's the word, but to just simply immediately understand what's going on. And I really want to touch base on that today because as in everything in life, if you're ever in doubt, get back to the basics. And I can guarantee the fact that you guys are here pretty much is because you're having some challenges and some struggles, right? So once I can guarantee if you could put any of these things that I'm going to teach you today, or just go over with you today, it will totally take your trading to the next level. I guarantee that. Okay. I promise that. So let's talk about indicators because without indicators, you cannot do anything. I struggled for years. I struggled. I had 10 indicators going on. I had, oh my God, I had like 3 monitors going on. I mean, it was crazy. I was constantly in analysis paralysis. I constantly lost money all the time. And then what I decided to do after losing too much money, I walked away. I did quit for a little while. And when I came back, I decided to go just to the bare naked price action charts, right? And that's when I started to really learn what is going on. But what I did realize is that you cannot simply rely on price action. You need to have grounding, like foundation, right? Like where you're taking your trades from, understanding when there's difference, there's divergences going on, because without this, you really cannot be super successful. It's just not a possible thing to do, correct? So here is my chart right here. I use 2 indicators. I use the EMA lines and I use the MACDs. And I will go into the live market a little bit later on to really show you how I apply these. Okay, and again, like I said, you can get all that I'm showing you right now in makingofaDayTrader.com. So go ahead and get the document right here, makingofaDayTrader.com. All right, so let's talk about market movement and the breakdown of a trend. Yes, we all know and understand that there are three trends in the market. No matter what market you're seeing, there's going to be one of these trends. You're either going to have an upward market, you're either going to have a downward market, or you're going to have a sideways market, right? That's just how it goes. It's just those three things. However, what people don't realize, and actually I can bet the farm on this, when you go to your trading journal and do and check from the back testing that you are doing where the majority of your money gets lost, and that's usually in the sideways market. I would say 90% of the money that we make during our trading day or even our week will get lost in the sideways trend. Why? Because this is the indecision area. This is the consolidation area. This is the exhaustion pattern. This is the chop. I don't care what name you come up with for what this is. This is an area that you do not want to be participating in. This is a trend that you don't want to be in, right? Why? Because it's flat. It doesn't have any real movement. And guessing what it's going to do is always going to get you in the end. Okay? So just for you guys to understand, downward trend, sideways trend, upwards trend. Those are the three trending markets. Let's dive a little bit further into it. What is an upward trend? It's literally when each pivot is higher than the next pivot, right? It's the market is moving up. Each pivot is higher than the next one. It's called a bull market, a market trending up, market going up. I don't care what name you have for it. It's just consistently going higher and higher, right? This is where you guys are entering for your buy, right? This is where you are buying. This is where you're going along. What does that mean? You're entering at a lower price point to get out at a higher price point, and you're taking the profit in between, right? You're going along. This is what a trending market is. You're buying. Now, downward trend. What is a downward trend? It's literally when each pivot is lower than the other. Now, if you're sitting here and saying, well, I never look at the market going down, then you're not day trading. I'll be frank with you. You're not day trading, because day traders, intraday traders, we do not care if the market is going up or if the market is going down, because we could profit either way, because it's 100% technical analysis, right? We don't care if the market, if the money of the company or the market is losing money. Yeah, it sucks overall for the economy, but it doesn't suck for us as day traders, because day traders, interestingly enough, make more money when the market is going down, not only going up. Okay. Just so you guys really understand that. And it's really important that you guys understand that. You can make as much money going up. Yes, you do, you need volatility, you need volume. So what is the market going down? This is when you're looking for a short. You are selling in the market. What does that mean when you're selling, when you're looking for a short? It means you are entering at a higher profit, higher target, sorry, higher price point, entering at a lower price point, and you're taking the profit in between. You're taking that profit. Okay, that is what it's looking like. You're shorting the market when when your market is heading down and you want to go short. It's a bear market. Market trending down, market going down. I don't care what you call it, but it's exactly that. Now, I personally am a scalper. I don't know if you guys know what scalping means, but just, the long story short is I go for really quick, smaller targets in a smaller time frame. So what that allows me to do is to also monetize and profit from quicker trends. So here we have the overall movement, which is obviously going up, but we get have a deeper retracement or a deeper correction, which turns into a mini trend. I call that the immediate momentum. So if the immediate momentum doesn't last, like in this case, it didn't really go too much, but I could have already profited really well. And then it stops and continues up. We know that the overall momentum is going up, right? So I really want to talk about consolidating areas and transition areas, and why I call them the trader's worst enemy, because this is where you end up losing the majority of your money. So it's about understanding how to spot them and how to avoid them. So what are they? Consolidating markets, transition areas, channeling markets. It's these indecision areas. So why do we traders end up losing the majority of our money in these areas? Here's the reason why. There's actually two main reasons. One is we tell ourselves stories. Do you guys know what a story is? So let me give it to you straight here. This is what story is. Imagine you just met somebody that you really like. I don't care if it's a romantic meeting or if it's a new friend. You really like them and you're just starting to develop this friendship. And they said, hey, you know what? Let's go out for, dinner one night. Let's go out for dinner in 2 nights. I'll call you tomorrow to give you the direct, to give you the details of what time, blah, blah, blah. So you're all excited because you really want to go out to dinner with this person. Tomorrow, the next day comes and goes, and that person does not call you. What do you start to do? You start to tell yourself stories, right? They're all stories of doubt and bad stories. Unfortunately, for some reason, we're not programmed to tell ourselves good stories. So, what are the bad stories we start to tell ourselves? Okay, what did I say? Did I say something that could have offended them? Maybe they changed their mind. Maybe they met somebody else that don't want to hang out with me anymore. Maybe they met someone and that person said something bad about me. Maybe they just don't want to hang out with me, right? We've all been there. That's a story. 2 days later, this person calls you up frantically apologizing. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. My phone fell into the toilet. I lost every single contact. I didn't know how to contact you. I finally had it repaired and was able to save the contacts. So what happened there? You talked yourself into a shitty story, right? You talked yourself into a really bad place. We do this as traders all the time. And when we can start to recognize that we're telling ourselves stories, we will save ourselves emotional trading so much. So what happens when we see this kind of trend starting to form? We'd start to tell ourselves stories. Why? Because there are two types of traders out in the world. I don't care if there's millions and billions of traders, we are all going to fall into one or the other category. Number one, we are the one number one type of trader is the trend is your friend trader, right? What is that? It means that this person who's going to be looking here, they're saying to themselves, you know what? The market's been going up all day. I'm going long. When they see this kind of action, I'm going long. That's the trend is your friend trader. Other kind of trader is the contrarian trader. What does a contrarian trader do? You know what? The market's been going up all day. It's got to correct. I'm going to go short, right? We could all somehow associate ourselves into one or the other trader type of a trader, right? So here's the thing. Those are lies. It's nothing because they don't that's just a story because the market is going to do what the market is going to do. It's not going to be a trend as your friend kind of a market or contrarian. It's just going to do what it's going to do because we as retail traders don't have any control over what the market is going to do, right? So this is when we have to get past the stories of I'm going to predict what the market is going to is going to do, or I'm going to beat the market. Again, total stories, total lies. We will never do that. We have to listen to what the market tells us. And here's another thing, guys, something that very few people, very few traders really understand. And the ones that actually understand are the ones that are successful. There are three things, only three positions that traders, professional traders, are able to take. One is knowing when to get into a position. Number two is knowing when to get out of that position. And number three, the most important one of all, is knowing when to stay out of anything, just out of the market. And when we see this kind of action, the professional traders, they stay out. They have the discipline and understanding that this is a market that's going to take their money. Okay, so if you take away all the stories and what you're going to look at, you're going to see that this is a consolidation area and you're going to know I'm staying out. Why? Because here's a market trending down beautifully. And look at this, consolidating, transitioning, channeling, and it changed direction. You won't know that, right? And again, like I said, I'm a scalper. I go for smaller trades. That means this could have totally stopped me out if I continued going down. You need to stay out and get confirmation. And how do we get confirmation? That comes through the indicators. And I'm going to show you guys that in just a few minutes. Okay. Consolidating markets. Do you really want to be in a market that's going up and down like that? Do you really want to be in a market that has absolutely no direction? This will take your money. This will take your money. Okay. You have to understand where it happens and you have to understand when to stay out of it. Now, how do we recognize it? How do we do this? How do we stay out? Because here's the thing, guys, the market, it has areas and the market respects them. And we as traders have to respect the market. And what are these areas? What are we respecting? We are respecting support and resistance areas. Now, if you guys don't know what a support and resistance area is and you're trading, and you're trading the live market, I'm going to tell you this right now, stop. Stop giving and donating your money to the market, because to me, a support and resistance area is literally the safety and the safety gear that we traders use. Here's the thing, guys. You've all heard of Formula One drivers, right? Formula One race car driving. It is a known fact amongst the drivers that 25% of them will have either a really serious accident or even worse, a fatality. So without those kind of odds, do you think they're going to get into their cars without their helmets, without their seatbelts? Oh my God, never, never, right? Never. It would be completely ludicrous if they do that. Yet we know as traders, it's 95% traders fail. Yet we still get into the market without our safety gear, without knowing our areas, without understanding where the chop is, where the indecision is, right? So you have to know where the support and resistance areas are. Now, what are they? What are these areas? What is a resistance area? It is literally the ceiling of the market. It is where the market is hitting over and over again, more than 4 times going up. Okay, this is a resistance area, and the market revisits those areas. It respects those areas. And we as traders have to be respectful and have to work with the market. We have to draw these in. We cannot do mental resistance and mental support areas. It's the same nonsense you're going to be telling yourself when you put in your mental stops. They do not work, guys. They don't work. Resistance areas, you need to have them in. What is a support area? It is the floor of the market. It is the floor of the market. It is where the market is hitting over and over again. It is the floor of the market, right? Could be powerful enough to totally stop the trend and switch directions. If you do not have this drawn in, you will not be able to see when it happens. You will not be able to understand. And again, pretending that you're putting in a mental support resistance area is just that, it's a lie. It's not real. Okay, so this is when you are able to also draw in the channels. Do you want to be in a market that is this grindy, this choppy? No, why would you ever get into this? Why would you touch the market that looks like that? Look at this. It's so uncertain. It's so ugly. It's so not pretty, right? Look at these bars. Look at this movement. You will be stopped out in seconds, right? So you have to know where to draw in your support and resistance areas. You have to understand it and you have to respect it and you have to listen to it. Okay, here they are again. And the market revisits them and sometimes it can move, but you have to be on top of it. Look at this strong support area. And when it hit here and it doesn't continue down, I'm already aware of it because it's hit it before many times, right? So here's the thing, like you're probably sitting here, well, how do I know when it's happening in the beginning? And again, it's all simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. It's about reading and learning and understanding what the market is really telling you. So what is the market telling us? It talks to us through reversal areas and divergences. And I call these a trader's map to shift in direction and trend. And we've heard of these before, right? Double tops, triple tops, double bottoms, triple bottoms, head and shoulders. These are all told to us. And how do we know when this is happening? Through indicators and price action. If you don't have indicators, you will not be able to get the majority of these powerful, I call them words, right? The market is speaking to me and it is telling me when I'm seeing a reversal pattern, stay out. Stay out. Whenever I see a reversal pattern, it's almost 90% certain that it's either going to go flat or change direction. It is not telling me, though, to go in the opposite direction. And many people hear that and think, okay, so when I see that, I have to go in the opposite direction. No, it is a potential of changing direction, but it is also a potential of being stuck in that sideways trend, which is going to give you nothing. Okay, now when you add divergence with reversal patterns and price action, this is the golden ticket to knowing this is your position to stay out entirely. What is divergence? So here we have a pretty indicative trend up, right? It's not super crazy, fast or moving beautifully, but each pivot is going up higher. My MACDs, and I do not do anything without my MACDs. This is my holy grail. My MACDs are literally my holy grail. If I was to choose just one indicator, I would go with the MACDs, but I also need my EMAs to know where I am taking my trades from and where the real shifts of the trends happen. So my MACDs, they are to me are the least lagging indicator, meaning that they are showing me what is happening right now, other than some other indicators like volume. So many other indicators, I find them to be a little bit lagging, right? A little bit off. And here I am being shown that the market is moving up. However, my MACDs are telling me that it's slowing down, that the weakness is forming. So I want to stay out because I know when this is happening, that the market is either going to go sideways or it's going to change direction. And I'm going to wait until I get real confirmation from my MACDs to give me that confirmation that it did change direction and I could safely enter it going the opposite direction. So here is some more. Here is a perfect double bottom. And look at this massive, massive divergence. And look what happened. Boom. It totally changed direction, right? Double bottom. Boom. Divergence with this. Now, I want you guys to also notice here the market is showing me that it's going down here, but then it's giving me divergence here, right? So what does that tell me? It's setting me up. It's already telling me, it's giving me, it's like that orange light, when you're about to go fast through it, it's giving you a really strong orange light. Be careful because it can change any minute and you can get hit. So this is divergence. That's what it's telling me. Triple top, massive divergence. Okay. So how many of you guys are actually using reversal patterns in your everyday trading? By the way, this is free. You don't need to buy any extra software or algorithms or indicators. This is free. It's right there for you. How many of you guys are actually using reversal patterns? Because one thing that I will tell you right now, I promise you, the second you start to pay attention to reversal patterns, the amount of money you're going to be saved in your trading is going to be phenomenal. I have so many students that come to me and they're like, oh my God, I cannot believe that I never paid attention to something as simple as reversal pattern. And it has saved me and kept me out of so many bad trades that it has been incredible. Do not trade reversals. You do not want to trade reversals, but you want to hear reversal patterns, meaning you want to understand when they're happening and stay out until it gives you a really strong move, right? Again, I'm going to put this all together now. Everything that I just went through with you guys, it's in makingofaDayTrader.com. Go here, get your free presentation. Thank you, Michael. But I'll catch that balance replay. Awesome. Good to know. MakingofaDayTrader.com. Now, let's put this all together. Breaking out of areas. We all heard of the breakout trade, right? Who here has not heard of a breakout trade? Because if you're not taking a breakout trade, you guys are missing out on some of the best trades out there, correct? So breakout trades are awesome. However, if you don't have your resistance or support area put in, how are you going to be able to catch a breakout? Remember, mental support resistance areas, they do not work. Okay. So here's the deal. Breakouts. These are so powerful. I'm going to give you guys an understanding of what a breakout trade is in layman's terms, in very simple terms that you can understand. All right, now imagine you guys live at this lowest pivot right here, okay? And you have a great friend, sister, brother, whomever that lives north of you, and they call you up and they're like, "Hey, I'm having an impromptu barbecue. Come on over." And you're like, "Okay, cool. I'm getting in my car and I'm going." You have driven this route a gazillion times, do with your eyes closed, right? You get in your car and you hop on the highway and you're driving a construction site, and the construction worker is pushing you to a detour to the right. I don't know about you guys, but when I'm in the detour area, I freak out. I freak out. Why? Because one, the detour has not really hit Google Maps or Waze at the moment, right? So I have to really rely on the detour signs. A lot of times I've been tours when they just stopped with the signs. And here I am in totally in the new area that I don't know anybody, I don't know anything. What if the detour eventually stops and they say, you know what, you got to turn around, you can't go here? Or what if they say the road is totally closed, you got to continue on these small streets? What is going on in my head? Total doubt, total uncertainty, right? I am completely confused. I don't know what's going on. Would I be betting money on myself right now to continue to my friend's house? No, never. That is that indecision area, right? What's a breakout? All of a sudden, we're driving and it's so, hey, the road is open. You guys could get back on the highway. And with a lot of confidence, you hop back on and boom, you are back in your zone. That is the breakout. Okay. That is where it's showing you again confirmation that action. Again, if you don't have your areas drawn in, amazing breakout. Okay. You're driving north, all of a sudden, massive construction zone. You have these detours, you don't know what to do road and you're back on there. Okay, so this is a breakout trade. So let me show you guys how my indicators. Mentioned before, here are, I don't know if you guys ever seen the MACDs or use the MACDs. They're pretty simple, right? They come with a zero line. I only use the actual MACD. I don't use the difference or the average. I find that just too much noise. So I only use the actual MACD. So the zero line is where, right? And if you look here, but all of a sudden, boom, it breaks out, it breaks through massive, massive area between my zero line and so how do I use my EMA lines? Imagine archers. I don't know if you've ever seen an archery competition. They're kind of cool to watch, but even so, every single archer, they have a place to stand from. They don't just roam around on the field throwing their arrows, right? They have a very specific place to stand from. So this is my EMA lines. That's what I use my EMA lines. I use it from a place where I take my trades from, right? So here is this massive movement. The market is telling me this is it. So I have my order waiting. So it's really important to understand order weightings. You cannot just go in a market. And if these two terms are new to you guys and you guys are in the live market, stop right now because professional traders never do market entries. Why? Because of slippage. We end up losing money when we take market orders. Okay. So you have to understand, you have to learn where to limit and understand where to take your trades from. Okay. Another bonus trade setup that I have for you guys, I'm going to show you. I call this the initial instant reaction trade. And what it is, it's again using my indicators, understanding where there's weakness, understanding where there's confirmation and a change in direction, all done through with my EMAs because I've changed over to the downside now. And I have a massive movement with my MACDs. Okay, so this is how I use my indicators. I cannot live without the MACDs. My EMAs, I take the retracement trades. I go on where it goes back to my area. I have my order waiting already in that area. Okay, again, everything that I've just gone through, you could get at makingofadaytrader.com. Everything. Now, let's do some live market analysis and understanding how to do all this, right? So I am an E-mini trader. I don't know if you guys know what that is. It is trading the S&P 500. It's the ES futures market. So this is my chart. And even though the ES is pretty much a 24-hour, 6 days a week market, it does close down for about 1 hour for maintenance. And at the moment, it is shut down right now. That's why you're not seeing actually any movement. But it doesn't matter. We could still do some pretty serious market analysis, just looking at the market right here and understanding the how it works, right? So today has been a pretty significant move up, right? It's a beautiful moving market in the up direction. So remember what I was saying to you about trending market? This is obviously trending upwards, right? And this is what, remember I showed you in the beginning, it's the overall momentum, right? It's the overall momentum. However, with the overall momentum, we can get deeper retracements that give us really awesome opportunities to take on correction. And this is the the immediate momentum, right? Meaning that it's a mini trend, but it could come flat. It could stop and then continue on going up, right? And when it stops and continues going in the same direction, we know that because the overall the market has been showing us overall. Now, after I see this kind of movement, I'm starting to see something. I'm getting a resistance area, right? This is a super strong resistance area. Now, what was I just saying? If we don't know where to spot the resistance areas, we can miss out on these beautiful, perfect breakout trades. And this is a picture perfect textbook breakout trade, right? Especially for me, it breaks out, goes to the EMA line, massive area here with my MACDs. It's just a beautiful, perfect setup, right? And then afterwards, look what happened here. We have this flat double top, and look at this divergence. Boom. So what am I seeing afterwards? I already profited. I already did great. Okay, wait. I have a double top and I have divergence. You know what? I'm staying out because the market is telling me that it might be shifting direction. This is how I read the market. This is how I watch exactly what the market is doing all the time. I personally use a 610 tick chart. I don't know if you guys know what tick charts are. I do not use a time for my charts. I use tick charts. So instead of the 1 minute or the 5 minute, I prefer ticks. Why? Each one of my candlesticks has 610 transactions happening at once. It is in the live market that I am able to see the volatility, the movement, the volume. And I have my tick chart remaining right here. It's the counter. It shows me how much movement is going on right there in front of me. I personally prefer it over the volume chart and a time and a minute chart because the volume chart I find to be lagging, and we never want to be lagging, right? We want to have that little edge that could take us to the next level. Okay, so this is how I view my market. This is how I understand everything. This is how I watch and read and listen to the market. All right, guys, so here's the deal. We all have everything that we need to take action, right? We all do it. We have the YouTube videos that we see, the summits that we're participating in these presentations. We could read tons of books, but the reality is at the end of the day, because we're still not achieving what we want, the real question is, how do you know that you're doing it right? How do you know if what you are learning is actually being implemented the right way? Right? Like all of this is great, but the real question is, how do you get started to really, really be able to be consistently profitable? And this isn't only for beginners. This is for seasoned traders as well who have been trading for ages and are still not consistently making money, right? And I get asked all the time, what can I do to turn this around to be profitable consistently? Because that's the reality. We want to be traders that are consistent, right? That this is our livelihood. And sometimes lacking full understanding of the basics and everything that I just went through with you guys, those are the basics, really makes a difference. Like going into a car, right? We have to have the basics. Where is the gear shift? Where is the accelerator? Where is the clutch? Where is the brake? Right? All of these are the basics. And if you can't get them right away, you're going to be constantly stalling out, going in the wrong direction. It could be really hard. And it's the same thing with a seatbelt. Like I mentioned earlier, if you don't know what a seatbelt is, how can you put it on? Right? So these are the basics that you have to learn. Support resistance areas. If you guys are not putting them into your charts, drawing them in, and this is free. This is on every single platform. You're not going to be able to have that protection, that safety gear, right? How are you going to understand how to be able to do that? And here's the reality, guys. My sad truth is that I spent over $20,000 on my own trainings. No joke. I've had them all, mentorships, academies, chat rooms, you name it. And yet I was still struggling and still losing money. Because, and honestly, I ended up losing money. I ended up losing almost $4,000 in 5 minutes. And this is after a long time of trading. And then after that, I just felt it completely like depleted. I was completely defeated. And I quit. I ended up quitting. But as we all know, we get bit by the trading bug. And what is that? The thing is, it never stops itching. And why? Because deep down inside, we know that we can do this. We totally know that we can do this. So I decided to get back to the basics. When I came back after about 4 or 5 months of staying away, I came back and I decided to learn the basics. I'm sure you guys heard of this. When in doubt, get back to the basics. I've said it before, and I got this actually from one of my biggest, I want to say mentors, but he's been dead for quite some time. So an online guru, I guess you could say. I don't know if any of you guys have ever heard of Coach John Wooden. He literally is one of the most prominent basketball coaches ever to this day, and he still holds that legacy for UCLA. He won 88 championships in a row, over 10 NCAA championships. I mean, this man was phenomenal. And he trained the best in the business. Like he trained with the biggest basketball stars. Yet, when they came back to train every season, he got back to the basics. How to tie your shoe, how to roll up your sock, how to dribble the ball. These are the best of the best. Why did they do this? Because it does not matter how great and everything is that you know, but if you get a blister on the court and you're bleeding, you got to get off the court. It doesn't matter. All your other training, it's going to go to the wayside, literally. You need to get back to the basics because the basics is what's going to keep you riding and consistently give you those wins. Now, for today, for those people that are participating only, I have a very special offer for you guys today, right now, only for you guys. This is my introductory course, the bootcamp for day trading. And it was created for you guys. It does not matter what step you're in. It is literally your next step. It could be either your first step or your next step. This is the step. Here's what you get in your course. Simplifying your day trading package. Also, 30-minute platform setup tutorial. A lot of people are still struggling with just the setups of your platforms. So that's all part of the course. Immediate, so it's done in 30 minutes, so you do not have to struggle with it. I literally learned, it took me 5 months to learn how to set up my platform, and it was keeping me back all the time. It was horrible. You're going to understand how to dissect the market, uptrend, sideways, truly understand and dissect it. Magic telltale signs, the reversal areas, the divergences, like really understand what they're all about. These areas will save you completely. Understanding areas, spotting them, market shifts, the divergences, all of this, how to spot your breakouts and how to avoid the fake out breakouts because they happen and they can lose you money. So you could understand how to stay out of that altogether. And unlimited access to the curriculum, which is priceless. All of this is valued for $1,600. All of this is valued for $1,600. Your framework, trader setup, Dissecting trends. If you do not have a workspace set up properly, you're not going to be able to profit properly, right? Because you're going to be struggling with just the setting up of that. Understanding those areas, respecting them, having them drawn in, and really, really monetizing the power of the breakout and mastering that. So I work with students from all over the world. This is not only for people in Canada and the US. I have traders all over the world. Here's what some of my students have told me. That just finishing up the boot camp, the feedback is invaluable. This course is amazing, and Marina is an amazing teacher. I have zero experience in this area, even for a non-techie, non-math, stay-at-home mom. It feels like I'm really catching on. But let me share something really important with you guys. And this is going back to, how do you know you're doing it right? How do you know you're doing it right? So why is it that all the best athletes in the world, it's okay for them to have coaches, and we figure that we don't really need it? The thing is, we do. So I am offering, that is part of this offer, special offer, 1 month, one-on-one coaching and mentorship with me, so that you do not have to question, how do I know I'm doing it right? Because you will have that accountability. You will have unlimited access to me for 1 entire month. And on top of that, best for last, you get 30 days free membership. 30 days free membership in my live trade chat room. And that is with me. It is not moderators. It is not anybody else. It's me. So you get me again, even more, for 1 entire month. All of this is total valued at $2,600. But special price, only for the live participants only for you guys, $97. Only for you guys, all that I talked about. Mentorship, just the mentorship alone is worth $500. Live trade chat room, where I'm going to be sitting with you live, analyzing the market for 1 entire month, 30 days, plus everything in the curriculum. Go here right now, bootcampfordaytrading.com, bootcampfordaytrading.com. Guys, go here, right here, bootcampfordaytrading.com. Everybody uses a coach, guys. It's the fact. And for $97, honestly, that is less than your average trade. Come on, $97. You get me one-on-one with you, plus the entire curriculum for an entire month. Bootcampfordaytrading.com. Bootcampfordaytrading.com. So join today. Normally, I charge $297 for this. This is literally 66% off the regular price. Bootcampfordaytrading.com. But here's the thing, guys, and this is an important thing. Because of my mentorship program that I am giving you the full attention, I'm only able to take on 25 people, 25 students. I can only give that kind of attention to. Only 25 students. And you can actually begin with $59. Literally $97. Come on. One-on-one for 1 month, unlimited feedback, unlimited working with me for 1 month. This is what you guys are going to see when you go to bootcampfordaytrading.com. Bootcampfordaytrading.com. So go here right now and let's do this together, guys. Bootcampfordaytrading.com. Let me know if you guys have any questions at all. I am here to help, and I really appreciate you guys being here and taking your time out. But the reality is, guys, if you guys are here, that means you are looking for help, right? You are looking for a way, and I am offering me coaching you guys for 1 entire month, unlimited, right now, including everything else. Bootcampfordaytrading.com, $97. You cannot go wrong. You could definitely use this for Forex. Absolutely. It's understanding how to read the charts, because for Forex, it's all about the charts. It's all about the charts. And I have lots of Forex students. Bootcampfordaytrading.com, guys. Let me know if there's any other questions. And I just wanted to say thank you so much for having me here. And I just really enjoyed today. All right, guys, let me know if there's any other questions. And I look forward to working with you. Bootcampfordaytrading.com.